From $80 million in Alex Ovechkin's account to over $63 million in Auston Matthews's. What on God's green earth are these guys doing with all that cash? Well, here's what. This is how NHL players spend their millions. And we gotta start with Mr. Auston Matthews, cause that guy's got some weird ass obsessions going on. As one of the top players in the country, he's obviously got a huge fancy looking mansion in Arizona. It's located in Phoenix's Red Rock community and sits on a 7,300 square foot piece of land, boasting 5 bedrooms and 6.5 bathrooms. Our boy spent a cool $3.2 million on it, and it even underwent a 2018 makeover, including upgrades like 27 feet of glass pocket doors, a guest casita, and a kitchen with fancy Bonova cabinets from Italy. A man of taste. But when he's not lying low in his luxurious home, Matthews is probably out on a sneaker hunt. Yup, Mans is a complete sneakerhead. In fact, his collection includes favorites like Nike Air Force Ones, Cactus Jack collaborations, sometimes reselling for over $5,000, and a couple of Nike Off-White kicks. He's got so many pairs that they can't be kept in one house anymore. So he's split his collection between Arizona and Toronto. Yikes. But that ain't it. He also has a thing for slides, with Dior, Nike, and UGG slides being his top picks. These range from $150 to $750 a pair. And let's not forget the watches. He splurged on a Rolex GMT Master 2 Pepsi Edition, a $31,000 timepiece that he proudly wears to parties. And of course, he's got the rides to go with it too. A $20,000 Porsche 911 GT3 RS, a $235,000 blue Lamborghini Urus for Toronto snowy days, and for a bit of stealth, an all-black $200,000 Mercedes S-Class. So let's talk about Alexander Ovechkin next. This dude just copped a huge $4.2 million mansion in McLean, Virginia. It's a fresh build with 5 bedrooms, 7.5 bathrooms, and a whopping 11,000 square feet of space. Now, when it comes to wheels, Ovechkin's got himself a Mercedes-Benz S-Class, but not your average one. It's the AMG-tuned S65 version. That means it's just as cool as it looks, packing 621 horsepower. This bad boy hits 100 kilometers per hour in less than 4 seconds. And this fancy ride set Ovechkin back around 250 grand. But that's not all he's known for. This guy's big on giving back, especially in his homeland of Russia. He's a huge supporter of orphanages, spending time with the kids, and making hefty donations for their well-being. Unlike Ovechkin though, Connor McDavid earns and spends only on himself. He's got bigger worries than kids, like shelling millions for the most luxurious house you can imagine. After establishing himself as the top hockey player on the planet, McDavid knew he had to live it up. So he hit up the best designers in Edmonton and started building his massive 8,000 square foot mansion back in 2018. This place is loaded with cool stuff. A personal movie theater, an indoor basketball court, a pool table, a wine cellar, a private gym, and not one, but 2 saunas. McDavid's living large, no doubt about it. But what's the damage? About $4 million, give or take. But hey, even the best hockey player needs a breather from the chilly Edmonton weather, right? So McDavid and his girl decided to burn even bigger holes in their wallets by buying a fancy 7-figure vacation home in the States. Still, McDavid's spending habits don't even come close to this next player's. Yep, I'm talking about Sidney Crosby. Sid's probably the top earner among hockey players of his time, boasting an $80 million 5-year deal and pulling in $5 million annually from endorsements. Now, with all that cash, the burning question is, where's Sid splashing it? Well, Sid's car collection starts with a 200 grand Lamborghini Gallardo, a beast that hits 202 miles per hour. He's also pretty attached to his Range Rover Sport. But Sid's also dabbling in real estate, owning properties in Pittsburgh and LA, valued at $8 million and $4 million each. I gotta give it to Sid though. At least he made investments that will help him out for life. But sadly, I wish I could say the same about Brad Marchand. This guy wouldn't even think of investing like Sid does because he's all about splurging, or should I say, wasting his millions in the dumbest ways. You see, Marchand's got a bit of a fine problem. Known as the Rat, he's been hit with fines left, right, and center for various on-ice incidents, totaling over $1.4 million in just penalties. From an illegal hit on Sami Salo to elbowing Marcus Johansson, Marchand's wallet's practically bleeding. But fines aren't the only thing draining Marchand's funds. One crazy night out with Tyler Seguin after winning the Stanley Cup in 2011 saw them blowing a mind-boggling $156,000 at the bar. So one thing is clear at least, Marchand sure knows how to party, but even his lavish spending doesn't compare to what other NHL players did with the big bucks. But first, I want to bring up a rather peculiar case. David Pastrnak's spending habits. Even with a net worth of $80 million, this guy likes to keep a pretty low profile when he's not playing hockey. However, he does have a thing for fashion and a pretty cool car collection. He even got his Porsche 911 wrapped in a custom vinyl, which, by the way, comes with a hefty price tag of $106,000. That's not all, he also owns a BMW i8, and that one costs around $147,000. In 2020, he snagged the NHL's Best Dress Award, beating out Auston Matthews. I mean, just look at this guy in all his fancy-ass suits. Kind of admirable, no? Well, I mean, if there are any females watching, know that he's taken. Anyway, he scored a Honda CR-V for being the MVP of an NHL All-Star game the same year he won that award. However, he decided to donate it to a nurse at Tufts Medical Center as a thank you gesture to frontline healthcare heroes during 2020. I'd still say Pastrnak's still one of the luckier ones out there because he dodged the spending bug that cost Patrick Kane millions. Despite Kane's enormous paychecks and reign of terror in the hockey world, he found himself struggling with a costly addiction. It all began after his breakout rookie season when Kane, who was making a name for himself as Chicago's shining star, felt the need for a home as impressive as his skills on ice. So he splurged a cool $2 million on a 2,100 square foot condo perched on the 33rd floor of the Trump International Tower. And just to jazz things up, he tossed in an extra $130,000 to park his Hummer inside the tower. But that was just the beginning. Kane's real estate obsession took him to Hamburg, New York in 2012, where he purchased a lakefront mansion complete with a basketball court, a sprawling in-ground swimming pool, and a boat launch, setting him back another $2.6 million. And the spending spree didn't stop there. After bonding with Blackhawks captain Jonathan Toews and celebrating several cups, Kane decided to be Toews' neighbor. This time, Kane went all out, splurging $6.4 million on a 4-bedroom, 4,700 square foot penthouse in the number 9 Walton. The upscale complex even had a massive indoor pool and a virtual driving range. But Kane's quest for properties was far from over. In early 2023, he bought another mansion in Lake Forest, Illinois, featuring 5 bedrooms and an in-ground pool, this time for a cool $5 million. I mean, seriously, how many houses does one guy need? And to add to the confusion, Kane doesn't even play for Chicago anymore. The big question is, what kind of property he'll pick up next, now that he's, signed with Detroit. Not everyone needs 4 walls though. Some players fancy 4 wheels a lot more. Especially Henrik Lundqvist. Henrik rolls in a slick-looking Lamborghini Gallardo, and he couldn't resist personalizing it by swapping out the emblem and slapping on his own last name. It's a bit preppy, but hey, who am I to judge? He didn't waste time deciding that black was too basic for a superstar like him, so he had the car painted gunship gray with a matte finish. Smooth. This beast packs 560 horsepower and hits a top speed of 320 kilometers per hour. Translation, it's not just a car, it's a powerhouse. Just like the 2010 Bentley Continental GTC Super Sports he scored back in 2010. And just so you know, the GT Super Sports is the fastest production Bentley of its time with a price tag north of $270,000. Now, not all NHL players are spending blowing their money with their eyes closed. Some of them are playing their cards right. Take Anze Kopitar, for example. He recently bagged Addison Homes in Manhattan Beach for a cool $10 million. And guess who his investment partner is? His wife. Gotta hand it to him, he's lucky to have a woman with brains by his side. These houses offer a perfect retreat with stunning beach views, spacious bedrooms, and an entrance gate that screams seashore paradise. And you wouldn't think he'd skip out on a fancy car, did you? No way. Anze owns a Porsche Cayenne, valued at $80,000, and is known as one of the highest paid players in the NHL. Actually, the only player who might have outdone Anze in the house department is Dion Phaneuf. Check out his jaw-dropping summer house on Prince Edward Island. It holds a special place in Dion's heart, as it was also the venue for his wedding reception to Canadian actress Alicia Cuthbert. While Dion seems to hold his house dear, not every NHL player feels the same way. I mean, take Hall of Famer Joe Montana, for instance. He just put his house on the market for a mind-boggling $45 million. That's literally buy yourself a small island kind of money. Let us know which player's lifestyle surprised you the most. And if you enjoyed the video, you know what to do. Go on, hit that subscribe button, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care, bud.